I have been having a really good time with Splatoon 3. One of my favorite things that I've been doing with the game is getting familiar with weapons that I just really didn't have a ton of experience with in Splatoon 2. One of those for me is the Splat Roller. Now, it doesn't have my favorite kit or anything like that, but this is a really good early weapon, so I figure why not make a video that could be helpful to people like me that are just jumping in with this weapon for the very first time. If you want to see more videos like this, make sure to let me know by leaving a comment, like the video, and subscribe if you're not already. But the Splat Roller, the best use case for it is obviously just spreading ink very, very quickly. This is an awesome weapon for your first few levels of Turf War. Spreading ink is the name of the game, literally in that game mode, and this is perfect for that. You also have this vertical spread that happens when you jump, and that also covers a pretty good area. Of course, Turf War is all about spreading ink, but you're also going to come across some enemies, and my favorite thing about this weapon is that it is basically a one-hit splat. Now, you have to get really close for it to be a one-hit splat, and I guess that is the one downside of this loadout, of this kit, of this weapon, is that you got to get right up in there, and getting right up in there means that they have a much easier chance of splatting you, just like you do with them. I recommend that for players that are beginning to use this for the first time, try to focus on spreading ink more. That's probably what you're going to want to do, because you're going to need to get pretty good at maneuvering in order to stay alive with this loadout. I die a lot with it. I'm not perfect with it by any means. I'm only now learning to use the weapon properly, but like I said, this has been my favorite part of Splatoon 3, getting to use new weapons and kits. For the bombs, of course, we have our little Roomba that covers a bunch, and then we can just quickly get in there on an enemy, even if they have a lot of their ink splattered around. Things are getting pretty messy here, so let me clean up. The special was something that at first I thought was like really dumb and useless, but it is more defensive. You stay in here and they have to come to you in order to splat you. Of course, when an enemy sees this, they have two options. Get away, because you know that you're going to need to get pretty close to them. And it's also going to provide you some good cover, some good defense if you are in a bad situation. I mean, just to talk a little bit about the limits though, the range, very limited. If you're this far back, you're going to do 40 damage. If you take a few steps forward and you're a little closer, you'll do more. You'll do 49, one step closer, and you probably do like 50 damage. But outside of that, you're gonna really honestly need to get up close. If you want to stay ranged, if you're not experienced enough to just kind of get in there, then, you know, I would say maybe use a different weapon. But if you're comfortable getting up close and personal, the Splat Roller is way more fun than I thought it was gonna be. I didn't have a ton of experience with this. I barely use it at all in Splatoon 2. And now that Splatoon 3 is here, I'm diving in with a bunch of new weapons. Let me know if you want to see more videos like this for different weapons as I try them out and begin to learn them. I guess the big question is, how friendly to new players is this? I would say out of a 5-star rating, this is like a 3 as far as friendly for new people, because with Turf War, you can just spread ink. You don't even have to fight all that much. You can contribute to your team winning by just rolling around. You hold down the trigger and you roll around like this. Of course, you got to reload whenever you need to, but that's about it. The special, you're not going to be doing any damage, but you can help if you see a teammate in need. And if you get in a bad situation and you're lucky enough to just get the one hit when you're that close, it's going to be an instant kill. As you can see here, it even goes through a couple of enemies. It reaches way back there. You do a little bit of damage to the enemy standing behind. That's really useful. The only things that make this not more beginner friendly is how close you have to get and how accurate you have to be, because if you miss, let's say I'm shooting and I miss, that's going to give the opponents a very quick chance to get back at me. Once you become a little bit more accurate with it, once you know that you kind of have to lead it a little bit in order to be able to get the direct hit with the splat, I think you could become pretty darn good at being a nuisance to the opposite team. I gotta say, I'm having a lot of fun learning this weapon, but for now, let's go ahead and check it out in action. As a person using a Splat Roller, I feel like it's pretty much my duty, my sworn job, to cover our base. Getting your base is really important. It's one of the first things that you should do when you start a match. Here, obviously, we have some teammates helping out. That makes it a whole lot quicker. but covering the base should probably be one of the first things you do, and the Splat Roller is amazing for that, as you can see here. This is a good example of how if a enemy is too far away, you probably just want to retreat. Obviously, that person has the high ground on us, so we want to get back as far as we can. They do eventually come down here, and we end up splatting each other. It's not the cleanest of things, but that's just how this one happened to have worked out. I waited until they jumped down, and it was a little bit more in my favor as far as range goes, because that would have been a lost fight if I had just gone in there while they had the high ground and had that distance. This next clip is going to show a couple of things. Obviously, getting really close. I keep mentioning that because it's so important. I want to hammer it home. As you can see, I'm pretty much right next to that person when I splat them. The next thing that we're going to see, though, is the enemy actually use the special and me getting in there. So just because you have the special doesn't mean that you are invincible. They can still get you just like I did there. I gotta say that overall, it has been really fun learning this weapon. I'm not perfect at it. I'm probably not even good at it, but I'm learning along the way. And of course, getting to do these videos is also really fun. So if you guys do want to see different weapon showcases like this, I wouldn't call them tutorials because I don't think I'm anywhere near good enough to make tutorials about them. But if you enjoyed this type of content with Splatoon 3, maybe you are new to the Splatoon franchise, like I suspect a good amount of people will be. During some of the Switch Force streams and stuff like that, a lot of people said that they've never really played the game and that it looked fun and they wanted to give it a go. I encourage you to do that. It's really great. It's very beginner friendly. Level up a little bit, just casually get into the ranked matches. They are a little bit more sweaty, but you do get matched up with people of similar skill level. There's a ton of modes to play aside from Turf War. Turf War is the only thing that you've seen in this video because this is like a beginner video and this is a beginner weapon. So this is just what we kept it to. But overall, it's a really good time. I want to thank you guys for watching. You guys have been supporting the channel quite a bit lately, and it's allowed me to make more videos, and that's pretty much the name of the game when it comes to YouTube, right? Thanks once again. Special thank you to legend level members. I had a couple of people ask me on Twitter, how do you become a legend level member? It's just a membership level here on the channel. It is the highest tier that we have, and it helps a lot because those special legend members are basically what keep the channel going. There isn't a ton of you, but you all hold a special place in my heart. And with that said, I am going to go ahead and get out of here. You guys have been wonderful. Hopefully you guys have picked up Splatoon 3. I plan on doing a live stream sometime this weekend whenever I have time. I'm not 100% sure when that's going to be yet, but it's coming. I've said my goodbyes. Hopefully you were nice to someone today, and hopefully someone was nice to you too, because you deserve it. I'm out of here. Thanks for watching.